Okay guys, let's get ready while we talk about what the heck happened. I posted a video the other day and a few of y'all asked for a story time, so here we are. Okay, so if you follow my account, you would know I am a dancer. I do it competitively, and obviously being a very injury-prone person, dancing and injury-prone, they don't go together. So we're gonna start from the very beginning. I would say it was either my first or second year competing. I don't know what I did to my foot, but I did something to it. This was probably like 2 years ago at this point. And at first, it literally just felt like my foot was like really sore. The feeling when your muscles are sore, that's what like the whole lower part of my leg just felt like. And honestly, for that first year, it would kind of go from like some days it would be horrible, but some days it would like be like it wasn't even there. Like some days it would hurt really bad and some days it like wouldn't hurt whatsoever. So if I'm being honest, I did just kind of ignore it for like the first year. And then it was May of last year when it started getting like worse, I guess. Up until that May, it was like gone for multiple months. I was like, oh, perfect, I'm magically healed, like fantastic. Yeah, that was not the case. So it was last summer when I started to actually like take it serious. I would say from last summer up until maybe the end of last year, like the beginning of this year, I tried everything to make it like stop hurting. Like I tried ankle braces, KT tape, like ankle stabilizers, like little like compression socks. So at this point we were like, oh yeah, maybe we should like go see a doctor. Like, I mean, it's kind of gone to the point where like it's out of my control. So we went to this like really high rated like sports medicine doctor in our area, and pretty much he was like, oh yeah, I see this all the time, your bone's out of place. My what? So then he was like, oh yeah, I can just pop your bone back into place. So he took my foot and he just went like that, but like no, obviously not like that harsh, but like gently, I guess. He was like, oh, perfect, you are all good. He was like, yeah, you should be fine in like 4 days maybe. Give it a week later and it just keeps getting worse. I think at that point is when it started to actually get like serious. So then we called them again, we were like, hey, that didn't work. And they were like, oh, well, go get x-rays and like MRIs and stuff. So we did that, and that's when we found out some like ligament in my foot was like partially torn. I think if at that moment I was like, okay, yeah, I should probably take some time off, we could have prevented this. I was mid-competition season, and you can't just bail mid-season, like obviously. I forget how long we were off for spring break because I went out of town, so I think it was a little bit longer. But when I came back from spring break, it was feeling a lot better, right? So I was like, okay, wait, maybe those like few little weeks I just took off like healed it. It did heal it for about a week. And then I forgot to mention, but at that point we had gone and like seen a different doctor. Because the other people, we tried reaching out again after we got like the MRIs and like everything, and it showed like what happened. They just would not take us seriously. So we went to some like orthopedic doctor, I think. At that point, I think I did 8 weeks of PT. That also only made it worse. I forget exactly when I did PT, but it was sometime between like January and April. But pretty much it was towards the end of a competition season. Not even competition season, that was over. It's the end of like our actual like dance year. I had like recital soon, and that's when I was kind of like, wait, I kind of have to make a decision of like what to do like soon. Because like I did not want to go down the surgery road, even though I knew that was kind of going to be the only option at this point. I'd gotten so bad to the point it honestly just hurt to dance. I was like, like that's not very good, is it? So then we went back to the doctor. We're like, okay, here's what's happening. What should we do? And pretty much she was like, yeah, surgery might be your only option at this point. In theory, I could keep dancing, but that's just gonna cause like permanent damage. And I knew if I didn't just do it this summer, like I would have died like mid-season. I kind of just decided like to go do it. Because we knew if I did it during the summer, I'd be back by competition season. So I had it done July 10th. They gave us the option to where I could have done it June 17th, but that would have given me like less than a week to prepare. When I got my license June 19th, I really wanted to be able to drive for at least a little bit before I had a giant thing on my foot. Kind of looking back on it though, I wish I did it earlier. Because like I could have been walking by now. I won't be 100% back until probably October is what the doctor's thinking. But that's like pretty much the full story. There's definitely some details I'm leaving out. I just tried that powder for the first time, and why did it make me look yellow, guys? They switched me from my splint to the boot 4 days ago, I think. I'm gonna be back once I do my lashes. Guys, there is an eyelash like up in my eyeball, like it hurts. Okay guys, here's today's lashes. They look really yellow, but please ignore that. We can tell I have gotten paler since I had this surgery done. But guys, I miss tanning. I haven't tanned since the end of June, and it's almost August. I know tanning's bad for your skin, guys. I know, but like, it's a serotonin boost. Okay, but there's kind of like my little story time. As I said earlier, I definitely missed some details. Pretty much, I ignored an injury. It got worse to the point I couldn't dance, had to get surgery. Now I'm out. Yeah, okay, that's all. Bye, guys.
Get ready with me, but story time on how I was stalked my sophomore year of high school. So it wasn't like a random stalking, like it was someone that I knew. Still doesn't make it any better. So this was one of my coworkers. I met him in about October of 2023. He had just started, but when I met him, he had a girlfriend. Told me that straight up, I have a girlfriend. Cool, I wasn't trying to hit on him or anything. That's not the point of me saying that. But then like a week or two later, he comes up to me and tells me that him and his girlfriend broke up. Fine, very normal. Didn't think anything of it. So me and this guy start becoming like close friends. We spent like every Saturday shift together, which is about like 5.5 hours. We would just talk the whole time, like we got to know each other. He was really nice. Then in about like January, February, I felt it start to like shift a little bit. Shift in the sense of that it was starting to be like he was flirting more than just talking. So I was like, whatever. And it's also like when someone's giving you that kind of attention, you tend to like fit into it and think that you might like them too. So later in March, he goes to a small private school. So his prom, like all the grades could go to. It wasn't just a junior and senior thing. It was like freshman, sophomore too. So we were both sophomores and he was like, I really need a date. And I'm really stressed about not being able to find a date. So I volunteered to be his date. I realized now that that was a bad decision. And I quickly realized just how much of a mistake I had made. He started to get like really, really weird in us like talking and hanging out and stuff like at work. This is like we had never hung out outside of work before. Every conversation that we had consisted of happening at work. He would look at my shifts on our like scheduling app and then he would text me before and after and be like, have a good shift, and then did your shift go well? Like literally stalking my shifts. I also had my location on Snapchat at the time, and he would look at my Snapchat location to see when I got to the gym and then when I left the gym, and he'd be like, have a good lift, and then did you have a good lift? Like fully stalking my location. So at first I didn't really like realize what was happening, but then I started to notice the fact that he like literally knew everything about where I was at all times, and I was like, okay, so you're actually stalking me. At one point it was like a Sunday and he kept trying to get me to lift with him, and I kept trying to be like, no, I'm lifting with my mom. But then I texted my mom, and my mom literally was like, I'm at a drag show, I'm sorry, I can't help you. My mom has never been to a drag show in her life, and then that happens the one Sunday I need her. So a few weeks before his prom happened, I reached out and just basically said that I couldn't go to prom with him anymore, and that I actually had plans. I was supposed to have like a training for my job, like for swim instructing stuff. I was supposed to have training, so I kind of just used that as an excuse, even though that wasn't really a valid excuse. Like I would have been done in time, but I got out of it. But then I still felt kind of bad because like male manipulation. So I agreed to go on a date with him. I know you at this point in the story, you're thinking, what am I thinking? I know. Like this man was like weirdly obsessed with me. Like would text me if I didn't respond to him for 2 hours and be like, are you mad at me? Do you hate me? Like stuff like that. He would constantly text me all the time, like, how are you doing? Like, all this stuff, but like weird way, like in an I already know what you're doing way. He would just watch me, like at work, and then when I would like occasionally see him in the gym, like literally just like watch me. So I think I agreed to go out with him like a week after I told him that I would go out with him. And just the whole week, I had just had such like negative feelings about it. Like when your gut is like telling you something, like literally listen to it. Because I'm so glad that I did, because this man was insane. So the Saturday before I was supposed to go out with him, our date was supposed to be on a Sunday. He just like was talking with my best friend about it, and I just had such like a pit in my stomach the whole time. And she was like, Ella, you cannot do this to yourself. Like don't do this to yourself. She's like, also if you go out with him and then you end it, like he's gonna think you like let him on, like this whole thing. So I was like, you're right. So I wrote him this really nice paragraph, like basically just saying like I think he's a great person, I just don't really want to go out with him. I wasn't really interested in it, and I felt really bad about the whole thing, blah blah blah. So all he responds with is okay. Like that's literally like it, just like okay, literally the letters okay. But for the time following that, for like a few weeks, our shift times just never lined up. Like I think we were both just so busy that like the weekend that I was able to work, he wasn't able to work, and like all this stuff. And this is where the story gets kind of crazy, but this is long enough, so come back for part 2. Love you guys, bye. Get ready with me in part 2 story time on how I stalked my sophomore year of high school. If you haven't already, go watch part 1. So as I said, we didn't have any shifts together for a while, but this didn't mean we didn't stop talking, or he didn't stop talking to me. Even after I had rejected him, he continued to text me like every day and like ask how I was, and then like even though I turned my location off on Snapchat, he continued to look at my shifts, and because I always worked during the week and he never did, so he would text me like after my closing shifts and be like, get to your car safe, like random stuff like that. And then he would start coming to the gym at the time that he knew that I went to the gym, which was inconvenient for him. Like he was supposed to have practices. He would come to the gym during that time just to like see me, and we wouldn't even talk when I saw him. Like he would just stare at me from a distance, literally just like. I remember this one specific time I was like on a mat like in a corner doing abs, and he like randomly was just like peering over machine, like peeking over the top of it, and it was like the creepiest, weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. I had rejected him, like fully rejected him, told him I didn't want to be with him, and I sent him this one picture. I was like just like a snap of my face, and I was still snapping him because I was trying to like keep the peace, because you know your coworkers, like you don't want to cause trouble. But I sent him this one picture as I was like getting ready for a party or something, and he saved it in chat, and he's like, you look so beautiful, like your hair looks amazing. I rejected you, it's over, drop it. So stuff like that continued to happen. But then that brings us to our final Saturday shift together, because this man did the most weirdest, creepiest thing he ever could have told me in his life. So I get to the Saturday shift, and I already was like kind of like not really talked in person since I rejected him, so I don't know if this is gonna be awkward or not. So it's just us working and this one other girl. And the one other girl's on stand. We're all lifeguards. She's on stand, and me and him are sitting in the office. I tried to be very polite and asking him like, hey, like how's your life been? Like, how are you? He immediately jumps into, I've been depressed recently. I'm not gonna lie, I've been really depressed. People asking you if you're okay is like a common courtesy. This is not an invitation for you to like spill about your life and like go on a rant about how sad you've been. I honestly don't want to hear about that. especially if I'm the cause of it. He starts being like, yeah, I've been really depressed. And I was like, oh, like, I didn't even think it was like because of me or anything. I was just like, oh, like, I'm really sorry, like, that sucks. What else am I supposed to say to that? And he goes, yeah, I've been really depressed because of you. Hold on. Absolutely gagged, like, what do you even say? He was like, yeah, ever since you rejected me, like, I've been, like, really, really sad, and, like, I can't find, like, energy to do things, and I just don't understand why you rejected me, and, like, it's making me, like, really depressed. Literally, there's this whole spiel about how basically me rejecting him caused him to fall into, like, a deep depression. I'm talking, like, deep, like, kind of depression. So I just tried to tell him, like, oh, I'm, like, really sorry, like, I didn't know that was gonna, like, trigger that, like, you know, I'm just not really in a place that I want to, like, be with someone right now. And I had to give the whole it's me and not you, even though literally is you. I'm just trying to, like, console this man because I'm like, what is going on right now? Starts telling me how, like, he was talking to one of our, like, mutual friends who also worked where we worked, and she was the one who told him to ask me out in the first place. She was trying to set us up. He would send her Instagram DMs of, like, people driving their car really fast and being like, would anyone miss me if I was gone? She would be like, why are you sending me these? He would be like, because of Ella, like, I don't know, like, I just can't live without her stuff. Me and him have never hung out outside of work before. Never, ever, ever. Every real conversation happened over Snapchat or at work. So he keeps talking about that and saying that he's starting to, like, drive his car really fast. And, like, really fast as in, like, he drives, like a sports car. And he would be going upwards of, like, 120, 130 miles an hour down a 45-mile-per-hour road. He also said that he knew which neighborhood I lived in and which school I went to. So he said that he would drive past my neighborhood and then speed up his car. I didn't even knew that he knew which... I've never told this man what neighborhood I lived in. And obviously, like, he knew which school I went to, but he has no business being in that area because we literally live in 2 different states. So then he proceeds to start showing me all the DMs between him and my friend, like, proving that this was happening to him. And literally just talking about, like, why would you ever reject me, like, blah, blah, blah. And I kept trying to tell him, like, well, sometimes people, like, aren't right for each other. Like, he was like, I don't think I'll ever get over you. He's not having it. He was, like, so upset, and, like, he talked about he would just drive past my neighborhood and my house. That's all I have time for part 2, but come back for part 3. You ready with me? Part 3 of how I stalked my sophomore year of high school. So where we left off, he was basically just saying, like, I would, like, drive past your house and all that stuff. Basically, his intention in going super fast was he was intending to crash hypothetically, except consciously he wanted to crash. That's the moral of that. I basically found out later on through the conversation that he also had broken up with his girlfriend for me. Remember that girlfriend that I mentioned the 1 week after I met him that he said he broke up with? We had worked about 1 or 2 shifts together at that point. Yeah, he literally broke up with her for me. But that's just insanity, first off. I also discovered that one of our coworkers, who was supposed to be my friend, when I rejected him, she had been like, okay, I'll hook up with you. She won't. And they didn't even go out together. They were literally just hooking up. They were both, like, talking crap behind my back. I guess that reveals true friend's nature, but he also told me in very comfortable fashion that every time him and this girl would be hooking up, he would be imagining that it was me. So imagine my reaction to that. I've actually never been so disturbed or creeped out in my life. So he continues to be like, yeah, I never wanted to be with her. Like, I only wanted to be with you. So every time I would be doing that, I would just close my eyes. We would do it in the dark, and I would imagine that it was you. I'm gonna vomit. I was like, this is really weird. Like, it's gone too far. So it's my turn to go out on stand. So I go out on stand. He follows me out there. So there's, like, a water exercise class going on right now, and they're in the middle of their cool down. So they're playing, like, songs and stuff. And the songs are kind of, like, sad songs. And I think this is so, like, cinematic, and it's kind of funny. As we're having the whole, like, it's gonna be okay, like, you're gonna be fine, like, I promise this is not, like, the biggest worry in your life, like, me rejecting you, blah, 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 conversation. Kesha's Praying is playing. Like, I'm literally not even lying. Like, I hope you someone pray. That song is literally playing in the background. It's so bad that I can't make it up. And I'm pretty sure that's all that happened, like, big news with that conversation. I told my parents about it when I got home. I was like, this is so weird. Like, I don't know what to do, blah, blah, blah. We ultimately came to the decision that he was actually putting himself in harm's way, and that we should probably tell someone. Because, like, you're literally trying to crash your car. You could die, and that's because of me. And imagine how that being on my conscience. As we're leaving in-service, I'm, like, behind him in his car, or I was, like, driving home behind him. He literally drove, like, to my house area. Again, we live in 2 different states. I don't know why he was over there, but I was behind him, and after I got home, he texted me, and he was like, hey, do you want to think we could, like, hang out sometime? But no! I don't know if he thought he was, like, guilt tripping me into, like, going out with him, like, still continuing to persist. I just told him, like, I don't think that's a very good idea, like, based on the conversation we had today. I just don't think that's healthy, blah, blah. So then a few hours later, he sends me a picture of his dashboard, and it says 120 miles per hour with the caption, would anyone miss me if I was gone? Have we not learned our lesson? I told you stop. This was actually, like, spiraling out of proportion. So I basically responded to that with, you can't tell me stuff like this. Like, you need to stop, because, like, imagine what is this is doing to me. Like, stop this right now. I'm gonna report you. Like, I stopped being nice. I laid down the law with that. And he basically just said, like, okay, I'm sorry. But then the next week, I went to our boss at work, and I told her everything that was happening, and was like, what do I do with this? Because I don't know if I report him here. I want him to stay away from me. And she just told me that we didn't have to work any shifts together for a while if I didn't want that. I didn't. And then also she told me that because of, like, the crashing the car thing and all this stuff, I should go to his guidance counselor at school. My mom basically reached out to the principal and told her what was going on. His parents got into contact with my parents, and his parents' biggest worry with him driving his car fast is that parents wouldn't want their kids getting in the car with him anymore. So they didn't actually care about the rejecting thing and all that, and the fact that he was stalking me and everything. They were literally just worried that, oh no, he's gonna be seen as an unsafe driver now. He literally is. His school said that they would talk to him about it, which I'm assuming they did. And we didn't see each other for months, like till the next school year. He now has a girlfriend. They've been dating for like 8 months or something. I think they're happy. She definitely doesn't know about all this stuff. Him and I have talked at work before, and I think we're chill. Okay, love you guys, bye.
I'm a bit nervous to do this video because I'm scared, my old school is going to come for me and they're going to make me take this video down, but I'm going to post it anyway, so get ready with me while I tell you some crazy things that happened at my old school. Also, just to clarify, this was the school that I got severely bullied at and physically attacked and assaulted at, so it's not very shocking all the things I'm about to tell you. But one thing I witnessed at this school was a student being with an iPhone charger. Yeah, so I was just minding my day. I can't remember if I was getting bullied at this point, but I know I left my lesson early. I did have permission to do it. I'm pretty sure it was during the time that I was getting bullied myself anyways. Go outside and yeah, there he is. Like, this kid is up against this pillar and the other student with the charger trying to him has like got him around the pillar. Yeah, it was weird. Weird not even being the right word, like genuinely scary. I remember thinking, what have I walked into? Because obviously I went to a different school before and I was thinking, should I go back? And I eventually did for other reasons. But another thing that happened at this school was there was a girl who, like me, was getting bullied. Luckily this did not happen to me, otherwise I would literally die. But long story short, in this, I don't know if it was a fight or like a heated argument, but the girl that they were like harassing, they just literally pulled her school shirt undone, so then her whole bra was out and everything, and obviously it was a mixed school, so there was boys there too. Yeah, it was an absolutely mortifying experience, that poor girl. Now I know this is common in a lot of British schools, but like just fights, and you couldn't even call them fights. A lot of these people were getting like genuinely attacked, like you couldn't even call it a fight. That person had like no control in the situation. Yeah, just many fights, many attacks in this school, which were usually like from the same group. Now this could just be like a thing at all mixed schools, but obviously taking in consideration that before I went to this school I went to an all-girls school, so it was very different for me to be in an environment where there was boys and girls. But I just felt like boys got away with like really degrading and like just dodgy behaviour around girls in the school. Like there was literally like this one time where this boy literally like put his hand like up my skirt, and there was literally a teacher there. Teacher didn't say nothing. Like, what? It just brought back another memory. Oh my gosh, this actually happened to me, this one. There was this boy in the year below, and literally there was a week, this was like near when I first joined the school, there was this week where he literally would not leave me alone. Bear in mind, he's literally a year younger, and he just literally just kept coming up to me, touching my bum, like touching me up, like just full stop, like, ooh, it's weird. I'm gonna go bronze up and I'll be back. Next thing, honestly, God rest his soul, my favourite English teacher, literally the teacher that gave me love for the subject of English, very tragically passed away, and honestly he was probably like one of the only good things that came from that school. So I remember after that happened I was literally distraught and I was like, there's literally no point in me going to this school anymore. Also, I do genuinely feel like this school is cursed, because it wasn't even like when he passed away, it was like due to health conditions or something. It was a very tragic accident that I won't get into the details to, just purely for respect for him. This is very recent, which is why I'm scared to mention this one. This is like since I've been gone, but it's been like all over social media. There was a girl who, another boy student, with scissors in the throat, and he's still alive, but it was very close to his jugular, I think. So he very nearly died. And I'm not even joking, that probably wasn't even a month ago. Like this school, like even after all the years since I've left, because I didn't stay there until year 11, I left after situations I had that I can get into detail in a TikTok if you want, like my story at this school, like my personal story. Yeah, but it just shows that this is still a problem. This school honestly tries to cover up any single bad thing that happens, and will not have a bad word said about them. The school, like the name of the school has been changed multiple times in like order to try and get a fresh start. There is no fresh start for this school. Honestly, it needs to be shut down. It's absolutely awful, and just the things that go on are just ridiculous. Like, genuinely not even meaning to sound like a Karen, but I'm sure after the things that I've told you so far, which by the way, this isn't even half of it, I'm sure you guys can most definitely agree with me. The next thing I could probably do is a little bit of like a boy horror story, so I'm not going to go into full detail because I might do that for another TikTok, but basically there was this one time where this boy literally dragged me under the staircase where no one could see us for like obvious reasons, right in the eyesight of a teacher, and she just, you know, just walked off like not my business, outside out of mind. Like, girl, I'm getting dragged under a staircase, hello. Also, I was in year 8. Oh, these kids were feral. Again, something else that didn't happen that long ago, a boy that I actually knew very closely got stabbed outside of the school, and it was to do with something that was going on within the school. At this point, I had left the school, and my dad actually drove me home this one day, and in the car journey you drive past my old school, which is this school that I'm talking about, and yeah, there was like a bunch of police cars, fire brigade, ambulances, and then I just saw him outside of the school, all like really covering his leg. That's where he got stabbed. Yeah, and then turns out the next day I found out that that was what had happened to him, which is just insane. As you can tell, this school has many problems, and yeah, people have been protesting to get it shut down for years on social media, actually in person as well. Honestly, there are so many other things I could tell you about this school. This isn't genuinely even the half of it, and yeah, so glad I left. And if you guys want like my story on like, you know, what happened to me at school, then let me know and I'll do it because it was crazy. But I'm going to finish off my hair and makeup and I'll be back with you guys. For some reason this side of my hair keeps coming out weird, but all done. Bye guys. If you want more, then let me know.